Tam Pham Ngok and Tam Pham to the room of the Min. Some of you already know each other. They are also not indifferent to them. He gets straight to the point. The two Sai of Tianhai City. They fled at night. Do you have any ideas about this piece of meat? Try to smile pink. It's like a thought in your eyes. Everyone wants to eat this fatty meat. Don't hide it anymore. Respect Min. If you have any ideas, just say so. She glanced at the jade ceiling next to her. I think that, in the hearts of all three of us, we are the same. Ngok smiled and nodded. Maybe you can laugh louder. Let me talk first. The Tianhai City is clearly a piece of fatty meat. We have to hurry. Otherwise, it will be easily lost by others. It's hard to swallow this fatty meat alone. Only if we work together. So we propose that? Let's put pressure on them together. Catch them. Give out most of the resources of the Tianhai City. And we'll leave them a way of life. The Tianhai City is so vast. Even if you leave, they have enough resources to survive. And we won't shed a drop of blood. They occupy most of the land and resources. It's not great. Min folded his hands on the sofa. Put one hand on your knee and analyze the situation. Although the power of some Kier forces is weak, but there are mutants who can do it. For example, the red pepper of the Yangtze base, and the celestial shape of the base. There is also a translation. Their power is not weak. Let's jump into the roof together. It's not good for us. It is easy for others to eat meat. I heard that, tried to turn my eyes red with approval. She nodded. This proposal is in DTO. If not necessary, we don't want to easily start a war. If they are good, it is best. If they do not obey, they will be destroyed. In a conversation with three people, they've seen the city of Tianhai like something in a pocket. It's no wonder. Look at the number of people from the Tianhai City. This time, the power of the forces in the Tianhai City, really too weak. The other forces that came to the Snow City were all mutants. And the mutants of the Tianhai City, most of them died in the war. With non-fake original. I have to bring some normal people. To give enough quantity. Currently, the total number of mutants in the entire city of Tianhai combined may be just a little more, compared to mutants held by their own reverence. He held up a glass of wine and said, "That's it." The glass of wine was also raised. So let's act a little early. By the way, don't let that AI fight for this fat meat. Three people clinking their glasses excitedly. Happy cooperation. A power exchange finished. Started to get a map of the Tianhai City of Ra. To divide the 7 lands of the Tianhai City. We finally reached an agreement. Then start writing letters. To send to leader of the great powers of the Tianhai City. Campaign and others. Hurried out of the blizzard. Special train ride of Jiangnan back to Tianhai City. After going out of GA subway Temple Sun, Zhang Yi told everyone, immediately return to your territory. Start preparing for defense. Red is a little uneasy. She looked at the translation. Chen still passes by follow Zhang Yi. Clearly there was a feeling, as a loyal retainer of Zhang Yi. She frowned a little uncomfortably. He was worried about Zhang's personality. If there is a war, it is very likely that they will be sacrificed. She walked in front of him and asked, if the mutants in the Great Sea City killed, will you come to save us? Smiling, of course, Silence for a while. You didn't say anything, because Zhang Yi's answer was so emphatic. On the contrary, it doesn't seem magical. I've been learning about the flu for so long. Of course, you know the character of Zhang Yi. The person he cares about the most, forever. It is for the benefit of yourself and those next to you. Yangshan base. I couldn't stand a conflict. It's at the armed level. Without the protection of Zhang Yi. Unless they're hiding in an underground bunker. If not, we'll no longer be able to face the crisis. But like that, they will have to give up everything they have on their face. Land for others. In my heart, I made a decision. She silently gripped her hand. Take a deep breath. And go straight to the epidemic site in front of everyone. Expand translation. Take over the entire Yangsheng base. Just withdrew. The air at the scene became quiet. Others look at the red pepper. Look at the punishment. Although this may come as a bit of a surprise. But it's also in the forecast. Tran, still Kwong applauded. What a wise choice. He's a little pleased. Even though everyone was fighting for Zhou Zhangyi. But there's something before and after. He was the first to fight for the army. Of course, the status must be higher. Just. His power is really not equal to his training. This scene makes the sky. You are about to leave in the distance. Must be naive. He must have thought in his heart. There's only a few forces left in the Tianhai city. Now you're all going to the translation. How do we manage this? He hesitated for a moment and gritted his teeth. Run to the front of the pestilence. Zhang later. Our entire base will follow you. But Zhang Yi was very calm. He's not really interested either with the joining of some forces. Because he doesn't lack any resources. If you want to build yourself and team members, a peaceful living environment, the city of Tianhai, don't fall into chaos. The existence of these forces, it's one of the important factors to maintain the harmony of the Tianhai city. Look at the red pepper and the sky. Calmly asked in front, do you understand that doing so? How much to pay? No matter what happens, you must all obey my orders. The corners of his lips gave a sinister smile. Or even let you die. Red-faced and startled to death. Getting them dead is something they can't do. But they immediately realize that. The police are just reminding them. Join Chou Trong Yip's army. They have to obey him unconditionally. No one wants that. But the current situation is stronger than humans. The angel glanced at the red pepper, whispered. This movement is reminding us. Consent. He must obey him unconditionally. The sky and all of them are Delta-level mutants. But without the support of power, they're not going to do anything. The lone wolf. It's hard to survive in this world. It's not AI either. They had to join a force. Choose someone you know well. At least join Chou Trong Yi. They can still stay in the Tianhai city. Enjoy certain rights. Red Pepper and the Sky both nod, agree to Zhang Yi's request. Red Pepper said, whatever you tell us to do, we'll do it all. I only hope we can protect the people on our bases. Let everyone survive. Looking at Zhang Yi. Before that, we were very close. You're not going to treat me. Smile, Yang. He waved his hand and said, just do it like every day. Then wait for my instructions. He doesn't talk too much either. Even though he didn't ask the Kier 3 to do anything. Too high. There are more and more requests. If you really have a serious problem, these guys, I will still put my own interests first. Loyal. It's funny, that thing will never exist. Can only exist on the power of the translation. That's it. Red Pepper and the celestial figure nods and led Theo out of the train station. Underground temple son. Let's go home too. Tran Tin Quang also raised his hand to speak. The old man also goes first. It's snowing, and we're going home too. Then the whole group goes to the shelter together. On the road, the atmosphere is a little heavy. After all, the leisurely days are over. It's no surprise, it's very fast. There's going to be a clash with other cities. From Fat, sighing exasperated facial expression. Why do I have to fight? I'm tired. Uncle Wang said. It's a week 7, there's no other way. The strong live. The weak die. Society has lost its civilization. Comply according to the rules. Only hope the Jiangnan area, soon to establish more comprehensive rules to hold these forces in check. To sit in the extra seat. Listen to the two people talking slowly. Finish this battle. We'll be much safer. In his eyes flashed a cold ray of light. To the humiliation of the great city of Z. Expand translation. We can't pretend that nothing happened. Killing chickens scare monkeys. We need a chicken to set an example for others. This time we're going to collapse their chicken coop. At the shelter. The girls are in a hurry to return. Yang Xin anxiously said. I don't know about CA. How are they in the blizzard? Honey comes to the glass door, stroking away the translucent layer of snow and ice. I should be back in a few days. Suddenly, there was a snowmobile sound in her ear. You rush to look closely. I think I heard the car. The United States of America and the United States of America. It's impossible. Let's see. 3 girls come to the main door of the shelter, waiting for the translation. It's as they expected. The storm and everyone came back. It's time and people leave. It's not too long. Nothing happened in the house. Everything is as peaceful as usual. And I saw that he was glad to embrace him. CA, you're back. Zhu Hai, my patted Han's shoulder to remind her. Glad we gave way first. It's cold outside for us. They came in for some hot tea to warm themselves. End words, Zhu Hai, America. Let's make some hot tea for the group. He received a cup of tea with satisfied eyes. Thank you. Zhu Hai, sitting next to the view. Ask about the situation. What's wrong with everyone? When I returned, my face was very serious. He holds a cup of tea in his hand and speaks. It's no big deal. It's just you. Next time must be in the shelter for good. Because in the blizzard, so many forces feel that we're weak. The idea of taking over the sea. But when I heard Trong Yip's story, what happened in a blizzard? The faces of Zhu Hai and Yang Mi both appeared helpless. We have to fight again. Zhu Hai American shook his head with regret. Why can't you live peacefully? You have to fight to the death. I don't really understand the people in my head. What are you thinking about? It seems like she's criticizing. People who don't value the good life. You have to risk your life to kill. Wang Daxing hugged her shoulder, smiled and comforted her. no matter how big it is. We also carry. You just have to stay home and do your job. There's no need to worry. Sit down on the sofa. People are surrounded in the living room. The campaign began to organize the task. Hand, in charge of Tianhai City news system. Thanks to this, we can capture the dynamic in these areas. In Tianhai City, at any time. Duong Han nodded yes to CA translation. Besides, we can try to infiltrate the networks of other cities. He looked at her in surprise. You can do it too. Yang Xinhan smiled and nodded. Previously, because it was not necessary, our main rival is in Tianhai City. But now, forces that threaten our safety, they have become organizations, the power of other cities. It is also necessary to do so. Outside the network of blizzards that we dare not arbitrarily touch. Networks of other cities, unless it's an internal network, the rest, there is no difficulty in solving them for us. Even though it's the end of the world right now, but the network hasn't completely collapsed. There are still 6 large areas. Is a national superpower. Are maintaining this national security infrastructure. But most of the forces can't be separated from communication equipment, as well as the central control system. Then they have to depend on the network. There will be loopholes to be found. The light flashed in Zhang's eyes. So let's try to infiltrate the network of Daizi City. Go. We want to document their strategy. It's best to include mutant news. Smiling, let me have this. Then Zhang Yi looked back at the 6th revelation. Of course, you've been exposed to a lot of things in the snowstorm lately. Such as this kind of black training shirt, and that building material. Take it well. Then, the urgent task is to copy that armor. Trong Yi is very hungry for training uniforms in the ring. For the first time he saw clothes. Maybe through the clothes, to enhance the individual's basic physical. It seems it's kind of like a human exoskeleton. I've seen this kind of stuff on the internet. It's just that we can develop technology, the human exoskeleton, to the clothing level. He saw it for the first time. If you get this, overall strength of his group will be greatly enhanced. Even girls aren't very good at fighting. There's also some life insurance. 6 mischievous revelation, salute in military style. Zhang Yi looked back at Yang Mi. Your work must continue. Reserve as much of your food as possible. Yang Bile gently nods. I know that I haven't been indifferent lately. Zhang Yi nodded in agreement that it was right to do so. Then he arranged the preparations for the others. It's nothing special. It tells them to always be ready to fight. Others are ready to fight. Now everyone goes to rest first. Get the best state. Prepare to welcome new combat. Everyone shouted loud and clear. The next day, when Zhang Yi was sleeping, there was a warning sound from the urinal. There's an intruder. There's an intruder. Translation through the camera. I saw 2 black armored sleds. Stop there. He said it was an emergency. First stop near the shelter. Immediately, artificial intelligence system in the shelter has warned Cho Trong epidemic. Realize that this is from another city. Because he's never seen this before. Quickly change into combat clothes and walked out of the room. He smiled in a confident voice. Then I'll meet you. Look at the power of the city. I want the chicken killed. Also dress up and watch the show. To the front door of Zhang Yi's room. Come on, let's go outside and see how it goes. They say they are very careful. It stopped 200 meters from the shelter. They don't look like natives in their clothes. He came down quickly and told me. It must be the people from Dezhang City. The king frowned. They came to declare war. Sao. Funny chapter turned to look at the king. Declare war. Do you see anyone who wants to fight? But do you tell others so? God as people came to. The hidden laughter must have come to threaten us. So that we don't fight after. Listen to the words of Zhang Yi, the face of the view. It's a very strange expression. I came here to convince you to surrender. The king now understands. This theory actually makes sense. No matter what the city is, it doesn't matter how severely damaged it is. There is still some power, dysfunction, and armed ability. If you really clash, put them on the same path. No one will ever be able to come back alive. A few months ago, Zhang Yi and others, you can still win in the full-scale assault of many bases. Now the capacity of the translation. There's been a qualitative shift. FC Long is not in danger. The plague can also be solved. So who's sure that we can win? I'm afraid even the strongest people in the blizzard. I dare not. Just smile at the corners of your mouth. Let's go over there and have a look. The police and others went down the stairs. The others are in the shelter, waiting for them to come down. Tell them what to look at. It's okay, people take care of their own business. The flower jumps on the shoulder. The plum stroked its silky fur. You just need to wrap it up and browse it. Follow me. It's just a long procession. No need to respect their faces. On the contrary, it scares them. Chung Yi slowly extended her arms out in front. When space, a round shield, invisible things appear in front of you, everyone. They can stop in all directions around them. The current epidemic has 3 ways to use defense from the door of space. The largest defense VI scope space door. The strongest defense force is unable to move. When the defense VI space is small. The average defense, but can be used flexibly. Suitable for close quarters defense. Smallest defensive VI weight. But can form a full-scale defense. There is no dead corner, and because of the spherical properties that distort the space door, should lead to the weakest defense. Which way he needs to choose depends on the situation. Zhang Yi urged the view and salary approval. Zhang translated with 2 teams down the stairs of the shelter. He reminded everyone to be careful. 3 people slowly walked towards those 2 cars. In a car over there are 10 fully armed soldiers. Are also gingerly staring at the translation chapter. I saw Zhanji and the others coming. Blind aptitude beard. Strong body slowly speaking. Here they are. Another guy looked at the fluid for a breath. Send them a letter quickly. Then we can go back. Don't waste any more time here. In the back seat, the other guy laughed. You rarely come here once. Don't be in a hurry. After all, this place is our territory. Another one smirked. Then I hope they're the best. So wake up a little. They talk casually. He didn't let Zhanji and the others into his eyes. Because they all think the Tianhai city has been hit for a long time. The remaining amount of power cannot be resisted. A big organization in Dizak City. And others come close to them. Trong asked. Who are you doing here? The bearded man with the head squint at Zhang Yi. You are Zhang Yi. That's right. He laughed, hands out a cowhide envelope. From the bag. We're from Dai Zi City. Is the messenger of the three great powers there? Three leaders of our power. There is a letter sent to you. I hope you see it carefully. He gave the envelope to Zhang Yi, but I didn't forget to remind you. There's contact information on it. After understanding, send an email to this address. Serious facial expression dilation. Reached out his hand and received the letter of the bridesmaid. You've been working hard to get your letter. After the wind, he casually carried the letter into space. Heterosexual. The letter suddenly disappeared in my hand. That surprised the bearded guy and the Kier guys. But they also quickly understood. This is the space ability. Some fake actors from Dai Zi City, seeing this scene, whistle. It's also a rare space system ability. That's great. But the sarcasm on their faces. It's not clear what the translation is. The man with the beard, he told the translation. Give them a day to make a decision. In other words, well, only 19 hours from now. Even though SAO has to subtract the time we got here. Zhang Yi didn't say a word. The man used 2 fingers to touch his forehead. So goodbye. Good luck to you. The Kier psychics laughed and got in the car. Then start the car running on the snow, rumbling away. The view's face was a little disgruntled. Go to the front and ask. Why not kill them? These people are so arrogant. Calm down. I'm not interested in the shreds. Even more so if you act rudely. The enemy will only be wary of us. Let's see what they're going to say. Wait for these guys to leave. Then turn around and walk towards the shelter. The king took a deep breath. Looking at the shadow of my back, in his eyes, he spoke with deep respect to his salary. He's just over 20 years old. That when things go wrong, you can keep your cool. I know that ring. It's hard to get. Browsing teas say, have a good saying. It's not like this. Bad dogs don't bark. Zhang's voice echoed from a distance. Don't think I was so far away that I couldn't hear you. I was so scared that I hurriedly covered my mouth. I am not saying bad things behind your back. Raise your eyebrows. Turn your head and look at her. He's walking towards me. It's even more outrageous to say it in front of you. His face flushed red. I'm obviously complimenting you. I said you're a grown-up. Swinging his head helplessly. I think you are praising me. I'm also a teacher. The way you praise people is special. I almost forgot you were a teacher. Back to the shelter. He immediately called Zhu Hai. Come with him to the treatment room. Child ability. When you're done, follow me to the doctor's office. I have something I need your help with. Maybe you can nod. At the Kaini Health Promotion Clinic. You have to check that envelope first. Confirm it is safe, and then open it. There must be safety precautions. Even a strong false ability is easy to die. After a test, Zhu Kai confirmed that the envelope is no problem. Take out the envelope with tweezers raw. Then carefully retrieve the documents inside raw. What's inside is just a piece of paper. It's a handwritten letter to Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi put the letter on the table. Put on your tactical helmet and look down. The letter is quite detailed. Read the chapter carefully. The current Thien High City. We've been through a catastrophic war. Population plummeted. Some of the major indigenous forces. There is no defense. Dai Zak City. We, and as friendly neighbors. Ready to follow the humanitarian spirit. To come here defensively. I hope you don't refuse. After reading the letter, the corner of his mouth was filled with a smile. What's written inside is very simple. The point is to respect Min, Tran Luong Ngok and the late Red Spy Ba. Want to help them defend the Tianhai city. The epidemic could not help laughing. Laughter is getting louder. He said a reason that sounded good. These guys are interesting. If I guess correctly, I have also worked in the unit before. To hear Zhang Yi's laughter, my son and others are curious to get close. Ask him what happened. A translation for everyone to come. Look at the contents of that letter. I can't help but say these guys are really smart. If you use this trick, even if the Jiangnan region wants to criticize them later, they also have a reason to respond. After reading the letter, the expression on his face was strange. They're all very nauseated. Obviously, I want to go to the Mediterranean city, occupy the area, plundering of resources, but in the name of humanism. To defensive support. It's not about wanting to do something and keeping it. Chu Kai Ni asked Trong Yi. So what are you going to do? Zhang Yi told Kai Ni. Let's give everyone a preview. Take a look. Move to another room. Then also tell people about the contents of the letter. After seeing the letter, the view can't help but get angry. This is really mean. 6, of course, he is young. I don't know very well about this. I just feel very upset. They are always plundering. It's better than being a robber. Does it have to disgust us? Everyone looked at each other smiling and shaking their heads. With this kind of trick, a girl who's never experienced life has 6 possibilities. Definitely don't understand. Zhu Kai explained to you. There are things that people understand very well. But on the outside, there's a little bit of acting. For example, what they say is defensive support only. If you have defensive support, it can't be done in vain. We need a garrison. You need to provide them with the necessary supplies. 6 blank vision. We don't give, then they don't come to steal. How do we explain it when the time comes? If they laughed, they would say that we're irrational first. Their people can't do anything else. At most, you can steal the supplies. Sorry, 1 sentence is enough. If we can't stand to attack them. Until then, they will fight with us in the name of the language. He said he was defending himself. They think that I could swallow the whole city of heaven. Just get it over with quickly. Until then, use the above reason to explain to Jiangnam. When the dust settles, the Southern District is busy handling the case. Wandering martial artists in Linhai City. I can only close one eye and open one eye. Recognize their management rights. For the city of Thien Hai only. After listening, 6 suddenly, his face turned red. It's not that they're clearly bandits. You can also be considered a good person. On the contrary, we are the bad ones. The original translation was just an excuse. Whoever wins is right. Give Jiangnam a ladder. Don't let them lose face when the power alliance had just been formed. Jiangnam Great Zone. You can only tacitly agree to this. You don't have to worry about this either. It's just simple language art. Understood in the simple sense that a big organization in Dizak City, he demanded that they surrender unconditionally. That way you can keep them for 1-0. Survival space and supplies. Save and view Trong Yi, eyes as sharp as a dagger. Also angry to see the powerful mutants in the great city of Z. No integrity. Go fight with them. Everyone is angry. The king said the same thing. From fat face, clear spicy fists, hands angry. Let them taste the pain. These unscrupulous people despise us. You have to teach them a lesson. Nod your head. If you fight, you must fight. But the question is how to fight. 3 great mutant forces in the great city of Zak. In terms of power, it's probably no less than the big spot-based organizations. Before that, if we refuse their offer, surely they will know. Our goal is to fight to the end. They will be a little prepared. So it's not as if we're letting them off guard. Pretend to agree with their offer. Yang Han Han smiled and replied, I understand, CACA. I want them to be caught off guard and lead them into our trap. Right? He nodded in appreciation. The Lord always understands his thoughts. Continue to translate. They want to win at the lowest cost. This is what we need to do. The king asked Zhang what he would do. Just arrange it. Think for a moment. Then call the Red Cross, and they come here. Now everyone is on the same side. This has to get them involved. The mutants of the 3 great powers add up to quite a lot. Definitely a meeting. About the battle plan. In fact, in the heart of Trong Yi, there has been a sketch for a long time. After the conflict with the great Z city. He's always thinking of ways to destroy these guys. He had at least 3 options in his mind. But the current situation, it's what he wants most. He'll set you up and let these cocky people fall into the trap. Not long after, Red Pepper, Celestial and Tran Tin, they all went to Zhang's hideout. This is the first time I entered Zhang's hideout. I saw this magnificent house. Feel the living environment. It's like heaven inside. They're extremely admirable. They were treated in the living room. Invite them to sit down. Sit down, don't be rude. And then he poured them tea. It was as if he had discovered something. Hurry up and ask Trong. It's the mutants in the big city. What's the move, right? I just heard that. The stills and the celestial figures also put down the teacup. The face becomes tense.